Russia has said it downed a Ukrainian missile in Crimea. It claims to have struck Ukrainian command points and an intelligence outpost with high-precision, long-range air-based and sea-based weapons. Russia also said it sank an enemy boat off Snake Island with an Su-30 fighter jet. This comes a day after Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, came under Russian missile and drone attack. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has denounced what he called corrupt decisions made by medical commissions. These are assessments about whether Ukrainians are fit to serve in the military. He highlighted that medical exemptions from military service in some regions increased tenfold. Ukrainian law enforcement has also documented instances of officials receiving bribes worth thousands of dollars. Zelensky recently signed a decree formalizing the decision to fire all heads of regional recruitment offices. North Korea launched 2 short-range ballistic missiles towards the sea on Wednesday. This came hours after the US tested long-range bombers with South Korea. Seoul's Joint Chiefs of Staff said that North Korean missiles traveled about 360 kilometers before landing in the waters near the Korean peninsula. The missiles were launched from North Korea's capital, Pyongyang. The South Korean military conducted large-scale maneuver exercises on Thursday. This is part of the Ulchi Freedom Shield drills which South Korea and the United States began last week. About 1,600 soldiers and 450 military equipment units have been deployed to participate in the training. The Ulchi Freedom Shield exercise is nearing its end. Its aim is to ramp up the response against North Korea's nuclear and missile threats. Japan is seeking to raise its defense spending to over $52 billion for the fiscal year 2024. The request comes at a time when Japan's relations with China have sharply deteriorated. Japan recently released treated wastewater from the Fukushima nuclear power plant into the Pacific Ocean. The move angered China, which then banned all seafood imports from Japan. Chinese President Xi Jinping is likely to skip the G20 summit that India will host next week. Chinese Premier Li Qiang is expected to represent Beijing in the meetings in New Delhi. This comes at a time when India and China are engaged in diplomatic and military talks over a standoff at the border. The G20 summit was also being viewed as a venue where US President Joe Biden and Xi Jinping would have come face to face. This is crucial at a time when the two countries are trying to stabilize bilateral ties. Benin's President Patrice Talon has arrived in the Chinese capital Beijing today. Talon is on a 4-day state visit to China. The visit aims to deepen already close ties between the two countries. Chinese President Xi Jinping is likely to hold a welcome ceremony and a banquet dinner. This is the first visit by Benin's president to China since 2018. Gabon's military has named General Brice Oligui Nguema as transition leader. Gabon is located in Central Africa. Nguema is a former head of the Presidential Guard. Military officers placed President Ali Bongo under house arrest just minutes after Gabon's election body announced that he had won a 3rd term. While declaring the coup, Gabon's military said that the election results were cancelled, borders were closed, and state institutions were dissolved. A U.S. judge in Washington has ruled that former President Donald Trump's ex-lawyer Rudy Giuliani is liable for defaming 2 Georgia election workers. They were targeted in vote-rigging accusations after the 2020 U.S. presidential election. The judge ordered sanctions against Giuliani for failing to turn over electronic records sought by the 2 Fulton County election workers. Giuliani argues that he sought to turn over the records but faced several obstacles. New York's Attorney General has asked a state judge to declare that Donald Trump committed fraud. This is in a case involving the submission of false statements to bankers and insurers and overstating his net worth by over $2 billion. The New York Attorney General wants this declaration before a trial in the case begins. It was highlighted that the civil case shows Trump and his family members repeatedly used misleading financial statements from 2011 to 2021. U.S. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell froze again for around 30 seconds during a public appearance. This is the second such incident in a little over a month. 81-year-old McConnell froze while responding to questions posed by reporters. He was then escorted away. Hurricane Idalia has slammed into the U.S. state of Florida. It has brought torrential downpours and destructive winds. Nearly 3,000 Florida homes and businesses were without power as of Wednesday. Meanwhile, in nearby Georgia, 160,000 people did not have electricity. US President Joe Biden has said that no one can deny the impact of the climate crisis anymore. His comments come as Hurricane Idalia made landfall in Florida. Biden also announced $95 million in funding to improve Hawaii's electric grid. This is after catastrophic wildfires devastated the island of Maui in the US state of Hawaii. Meanwhile, experts are saying that climate change is leading to hurricanes intensifying more quickly. They've cited multiple studies. The speed at which Hurricane Idalia intensified has been blamed on climate change. The European Union used 17% less fossil fuel to make electricity. This is in the first half of this year. The data is according to a study from the clean energy think tank Ember. The drop in fossil fuel power generation was driven by both a fall in demand for electricity as well as growth in clean power. Targeting the finance sector has made it difficult to do business for coal producers. This is according to the environmental group Insure Our Future. Coal producers are having to set aside millions of dollars to cover risks. This is because they are being neglected by insurers who are seeking to meet their climate pledges. The Insure Our Future group called it an example of how citizens' actions create a tangible difference. Adam Bant, the leader of the political party Australian Greens, has urged people to join climate protests. This is to pressure Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's government to stop opening new fossil fuel mines. He said this at an event organised by climate group Rising Tide. Bant also said that he's planning to blockade the country's largest coal port. Experts say the UK must introduce water labelling. This is to reduce the daily consumption of water. The labelling helps inform customers of the water efficiency of appliances such as washing machines, dishwashers and showers. Experts say failing to do this will also add billions of pounds to customer water bills. Increased extreme weather events have posed challenges to the banana industry in the South American nation of Ecuador. A longer rainy season this year has exposed Ecuador's bananas to greater risks from black leaf streak. This is a disease that's destructive to the foliage of banana trees. According to Ecuador's weather agency, coastal areas will experience more heavy rains in October. This is due to the El Niño weather phenomenon. A designer has created chunky footwear that helps spread plants and seeds. Its 3D printed outsole is covered in tiny hooks. These can grab and spread seeds in the surrounding areas. The shoes can apparently help runners rewild urban environments. U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo has completed her 4-day visit to China. At a press conference, Raimondo said that she had not expected any breakthroughs on issues during her first visit. However, she hopes to see some results in the next few months. Raimondo also insisted that the U.S. does not want to decouple from China. The United States has extended the export ban on artificial intelligence chips beyond China. Exports have now been curbed for other regions, including some countries in West Asia. This is for chips made by Nvidia and Advanced Micro Devices or AMD. However, both companies have said that the ban will not have any material impact on their revenue. The US Federal Reserve has issued a slew of warnings to some of the country's banks. These include banks like Citizens Financial, Fifth Third Bancorp and M&T Bancorp. The notice touched on a range of issues from the lenders' capital and liquidity to their technology and compliance. This comes as the American Central Bank tightens supervision of the U.S. financial sector. Global payments processors Visa and MasterCard are reportedly planning to increase their interchange fees. An interchange fee is the amount that a merchant pays to the card issuing bank. This fee is charged every time a consumer swipes their card. The additional visa charges are set to begin in October for online transactions. Added fees for commercial credit, debit and prepaid cards will take effect from April next year. For MasterCard, the additional fee for credit card purchases will start in October. China-based property developer Country Garden has warned of default risks. This is if its financial performance continues to deteriorate. The company added that it felt, quote-unquote, deeply remorseful for its record loss. Country Garden posted a net loss of nearly $7 billion in the first half of this year. This comes even as Chinese authorities take steps to revive the country's troubled property market. Meanwhile, China's Guangzhou and Shenzhen cities have said that they will ease mortgage curbs. This is in an effort to safeguard China's property sector. They will give first-time homebuyers preferential loans regardless of their previous credit records. Moreover, some Chinese state-owned banks are also expected to lower interest rates on existing mortgages. Canada's Shopify and Amazon.com have struck a new deal. Under the deal, Amazon's Buy with Prime will be among the tools available to Shopify's merchants in the US. Buy with Prime enables merchants to include Amazon's checkout service and speedy shipping guarantees on items sold from their own sites. Australia's competition regulator has sued Qantas Airways. This is because Qantas allegedly sold tickets to more than 8,000 flights between May and July 2022. This was without disclosing that the flights had been cancelled. Google has introduced generative artificial intelligence to its search tool. This is for its users in India and Japan. Japanese users will be able to use their feature in their local language. Meanwhile, in India, the feature will be available in English and Hindi. This new AI search feature is different from Google's chatbot Bard. Kyrgyzstan is planning to ban TikTok. It has accused the video sharing app of causing addiction among children and affecting their mental health. TikTok also allegedly failed to block content that was harmful for children. The Kyrgyz government said that some children influenced by videos on the platform tried to mimic them, which could often be life-threatening. Moving on to sports. In cricket, Pakistan beat Nepal in the first Asia Cup match by 238 runs yesterday. Pakistan won the toss and opted to bat first. They had set a target of 343 runs in their innings. Babar Azam made a whopping 150 runs for Pakistan in the match. Then Nepal were all out at 105 runs in 23.4 overs. Australia crushed South Africa in the first 2020 International in Durban yesterday. New Aussie captain Mitch Marsh's performance steered Australia towards a 111-run win. Australia scored 226 runs for 6 in their 20 overs. South Africa were all out for 115. This gives Australia a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series. A T20 international match between England and New Zealand was held yesterday. England thrashed New Zealand by 7 wickets in the series opener. Skipper Jos Buttler won the toss for England and opted to bowl first. New Zealand had set a modest target of 140 runs. England reached the target in the 14th over. With this, England took a 1-0 lead in the 4-match T20 series. In football, Spanish football chief Luis Rubiales' mother was admitted to a hospital yesterday. She had started a hunger strike in support of her son. Rubiales has drawn criticism after he kissed footballer Jenny Hermoso at the Women's World Cup. This also led to his suspension by FIFA. Rubiales' mother had locked herself inside a church to protest against how her son is being treated. Pia Sandesh has stepped down as Brazil's coach. This is after the country suffered an early elimination at the 2023 Women's World Cup. The 63-year-old was hired in 2019 and was due to coach the team for the Paris Olympics next year. Brazil failed to advance from the group stage at the FIFA Women's World Cup. They had only managed to win 1 out of 3 group matches. In tennis, world number 1 Iga Świątek has entered the 3rd round at the US Open. The 22-year-old Polish player defeated Daria Saville of Australia 6-3, 6-4 in straight sets. For Świątek, the win was another step towards defending her US Open title. Newly crowned world number 1 Novak Djokovic continued his winning streak at the US Open. He beat Spaniard Bernabe Zapata Miralles 6-4, 6-1, 6-1 to enter the third round. Djokovic will now take on his Serbian compatriot Laszlo Djere. Top-seeded stars Stefanos Tsitsipas and Casper Ruud crashed out of the US Open. Both of them were eliminated from the tournament after second-round defeats. 7th seed Tsitsipas lost to Switzerland's Dominic Striker after a fierce 5-set battle. 5th seed Ruud lost to China's Zhang Zhizhen. The second-round match between Ukraine-born Marina Zanevska and Arina Sabalenka of Belarus ended with some tension. Sabalenka won the match 6-3, 6-3. However, after that, Zanevska refused to shake hands with her. It's worth noting that several Ukrainian players have snubbed post-game handshakes with Russian or Belarusian opponents. This has been happening since Russia invaded Ukraine last year. In athletics, the Zurich Diamond League 2023 begins today. India's star javelin thrower Neeraj Chopra will feature in the competition. The 25-year-old Chopra is the reigning Diamond League champion in the men's javelin throw event. India's Murli Srishankar will also be in action at the Zurich Diamond League. He'll compete in the long jump event. In entertainment news, the CEOs of Hollywood's biggest studios are all set to meet. So far, no plan has been put in place to end the writers and actors strike. Disney CEO Bob Iger will not be participating in this meeting. It's unclear if the president of the union representing Hollywood studios will be present. Remember, the writers' strike began in May and has been going on for months now. Trustees of Hollywood's Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, have unanimously decided to extend the health coverage of some participants. This includes those whose coverage will lapse on October 1st, 2023. SAG-AFTRA's president said that this move will come as a great relief to members. The union's national executive director said, and I quote, "It's a shame that studios and streamers have put so many SAG-AFTRA members in a position where they have to worry about basic necessities." A new poll shows that over 70% of Americans support Hollywood writers and actors in the ongoing strikes. Only 19% of Americans have shown support for production studios. 67% of Americans say they have sympathy for television and film actors. Hollywood writers and actors have been demanding better wages and the regulation of the use of artificial intelligence. Former US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton did not like actor Julia Sweeney's Saturday Night Live impression of her then teenage daughter Chelsea Clinton. Actor Julia Sweeney made a revelation on the podcast Fly on the Wall. She said former US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton did not like the Chelsea Clinton impression in 1993. This was when Chelsea Clinton was still a teenager. Hillary Clinton apparently wrote a letter to SNL creator Lorne Michaels about the sketch. Sweeney brought this up while talking about the lack of female representation on SNL in the early 1990s. Sweeney did not play Chelsea Clinton on the show again, but SNL continued to take digs at Clinton. Actor Bonnie Wright has reflected on playing the character of Ginny Weasley in the Harry Potter movies. She has voiced her frustration over her actor's lack of screen time. In a statement, Wright said, and I quote, "There were parts of the character that just did not come through because there were no scenes to do that." She added that it made her feel a bit anxious and frustrated. Wright's character Ginny Weasley has a much larger role in author J.K. Rowling's book series than in the movies. Director Joseph McGinty Nicole, also known as McG, has said that he's not closing the door on a potential Charlie's Angels 3. The director made these comments while talking about his upcoming comedy film Family Switch. Charlie's Angels came out in 2000 and a sequel was released in 2003. Both movies got an underwhelming response at the box office. Several actors, politicians, models and filmmakers walked the red carpet in Venice. This was during the opening night of the world's oldest film festival. Massimiliano Rossi, Charlotte Rampling and Liliana Cavani were among those who made the red carpet appearance. This year's Venice Film Festival features several highly anticipated movies from acclaimed filmmakers. The main jury consists of renowned directors including Jane Campion and Martin McDonagh. Singer Miley Cyrus opened up about her feelings on her Malibu home that she shared with her former husband Liam Hemsworth. Cyrus said, and I quote, "That house had so much magic to it, it ended up really changing my life." Hemsworth and Cyrus's Malibu house was destroyed by wildfires in 2018. After the house was destroyed, Hemsworth had taken to social media to share a picture of the rubble with the caption, "It's been a heartbreaking few days. This is what's left of my house." The king of pop, Michael Jackson's sons, Blanket Jackson and Prince Jackson, made a rare appearance. They attended an event and greeted fans on what would have been Michael Jackson's 65th birthday. The legendary singer died in 2009 due to acute propofol intoxication in the U.S. state of California. TikToker LEVI Jed Murphy has revealed his facial transformation after 5 back-to-back plastic surgeries. He said that his favorite part about it is getting the content. The influencer reportedly told his surgeon that he wanted his plastic surgery to look dramatic and not natural. Murphy earlier got 2 nose jobs and 3 lip lifts done.